Hello everybody, my name's TankRunner, and welcome to another episode of Drawing Roulettes and World Building. Today we're going to continue working on our project to create a new Pokemon region. Last episode we worked on the Pokemon you can find on our second route. Kuka, the Kookaburra Pokemon, who evolves into Burrabash. Nickit, the Red Fox Pokemon, who evolves into Thievul. Wombo, the Wombat Pokemon, who evolves into Womdarug. And a regional variant of Komala. In this video I'll be covering the second gym of our region and the new Pokemon that make up their team. But I want to kick us off with a few updates and some world building, so if you're not interested in that and you just want to skip to the part where you get to see all the adorable monsters, here's a time code for that. I started making videos for this channel last October. I released my first video for Halloween to a lukewarm response. 7 months later, I made my 500 subscriber Q&A video. And now, here I am 2 months later, watching my subscriber count rubbing up against 1,000. Like I've said before, I know that's small numbers relative to many other creators, but the speed in which we're growing and the people that are choosing to join the Tonk army, I couldn't be happier with what we're building here. I mean, hell, even PewDiePie took a year to hit his first 100. I'm not comparing myself to that. I'm just saying I am the opposite of discouraged at this point. I'm gonna keep making things as long as you guys keep watching it. Which leads me to the actual reason I brought this up. I promised you guys another Q&A video once we hit 1,000, and our community has doubled in size since then, so I'm sure there's a lot of people who missed out on that opportunity the first time around. I posted a comment and pinned it down below. Reply to that comment with questions about literally anything, and I will answer as many of them as I can in the upcoming Q&A video. Thanks again for all you guys have done for me. Alright, so when we originally worked on the starting town, I decided that our region would be 100% open world, allowing players to go in any direction they want after leaving the starting area. That's all still in play, so potentially the city we're working on today won't actually be the second city for everybody, so we need to keep that in mind when working on the gym leader. The amount of Pokemon a gym leader has and the level of those Pokemon will change depending on how many badges you already have. If you've been playing in the same order as I've been working on this series, you just emerged from the bush, worse for wear, but with a few new Pokemon added to your roster. There are plenty of new Pokemon piquing your interest, but the travel has been rough for you and exhausting for your Pokemon. So you decided it would be a better idea to find some food and give your team some well-deserved rest before heading off into uncharted territory. There's a few smaller boats that are willing to take you to several of the islands just off the coast. It's not as freeing as having the ability to surf, which will come later, but it gets the job done of giving the player even more options for traversing the region and building their team however they want. You also notice the city's primary source of tourism, this region's museum, which also functions as a gym for those looking to earn a badge. After a few minutes of wandering through the multiple exhibits, you meet the museum's curator and gym leader. I've been calling her Sophia as a placeholder. Sophia was originally a trainer like you. She didn't wish to challenge the Elite Four, but wanted to pick an adjacent career, and to do that, she would have to prove herself. Her goal was to learn as much about Pokemon as she possibly could, and in the process of doing so, had become fairly well respected in the field of paleontology. She now runs this museum and is the head of fossil regeneration in this region. When she was eventually approached to take over a gym leader position that had recently become vacant, many thought she would turn down the offer. She already had enough on her plate as is. But she accepted and chose to combine two of her passions into one. She was chosen as a gym leader due to the effectiveness at which she was able to pass each gym's test using her encyclopedic knowledge of Pokemon. And she plans to use that same knowledge to beat you. Jack trained you, I wonder if he went easy on you. Let's make a wager. If you can beat me, I'll give you access to all of the digging sites I know of. How does that sound? Would you like a fossil of your own? For those of you who are new to my Pokemon series, I want to apologize for what I'm about to do, because this is definitely not the kind of tone I normally set with these videos, but I've got something to say, so just sit back and enjoy the art. Of all the designs that I've done up until this point, this Pokemon and its evolution underwent the biggest changes from start to finish. When this region was just starting out, I did some research on extinct animals that were unique to Australia, so I could know the direction I wanted to go for my fossil Pokemon. My ideas were locked in, but a few months ago, when I started actively working on these designs, I was hit with a severe artistic block when a pretty big inspiration of mine, Kentaro Miura, passed away. For those of you unfamiliar, he was the creator of the Beserk series. It can feel really strange during a situation like that, mourning someone that you didn't know. Normal, well-adjusted people who don't live on the internet have a hard time understanding something like that, and it can come across as disingenuous. Add in the fact that the fan base is extremely passionate about Beserk for wildly different reasons. It's not that your feelings are more valid than theirs, but this story and its creator meant different things to everyone. So even when you're watching millions of people who seem to be as upset as you are, you can still feel weirdly alone. So instead of doing something healthy, like talking to someone, or killing and eating a billionaire so I could finally afford the therapy that I oh so desperately need, I did what shitty art kids always do. I threw up my feelings into my art. I scrapped my original ideas and took inspiration from Beserk in honor of Miura. Arctaro, the struggler Pokemon. Many Pokemon are able to push themselves beyond their limits. In fact, many people believe that it's this trait that makes Pokemon capable of becoming so powerful. But even with this taken into consideration, there is no species of Pokemon with a stronger will than Arctaro. Back before the extinction of this Pokemon, necessities were not earned, but taken. And for a creature like Arctaro, that made things like survival extremely difficult. Despite never giving up, many Arctaro never made it to adulthood. But those that did became an unstoppable force. The quality of Miura's artwork cannot be understated, but the thing that really spoke to me was his world building. The man created a massive world that always felt realized, even though on multiple occasions he heavily implied he was sort of laying the tracks down as he went. But even after all of that, in one of the last interviews he did, he said that he felt Beserk had finally started, and he could finally tell the story he wanted to tell after making it to the back half of the plot. He had been creating something amazing and kept adding to it for 33 years, in an industry where that doesn't really happen very often. And just then, at the end of his career, that's when he believed the real story was just beginning. I hope that someday I can create something that's even a fraction as good as what he's done. Giving people the same experience his story gave me, having people feel something so strongly for something I made, I'd give anything for that. Beserk, the evolved form of Arctaro. Beserk were extremely rare, even before their extinction, due to the dangerous lives they were forced to live as Arctaro. After dealing with as many hardships as they did, it was difficult for Beserk to feel empathy for other Pokemon that were unable to help themselves as it did when it was smaller and weaker. We knew very little about Beserk before the process of regenerating fossils, but since then we've learned that the stubborn and cold personality that kept them alive as Arctaro actually has the potential of hindering their growth. And of those that we've paired with a human, the most powerful Beserk are the ones that learn to work with a team, and come to the realization that physical prowess is not the only way to measure strength. What a fucking downer. All right, back to the same old same old. You want an adorable cat dog thing? Cool, because that's what's happening. My original idea was always to use the Tasmanian tiger for one of my fossil Pokemon, until I got a comment on one of my Pokemon videos to use a marsupial lion as inspiration. I had no idea what that was, so I looked it up, and I am so glad that I did, because I decided to make this line into a sort of fusion of those two animals. Thank you, AD, for the comment. Tasma, the Tasmanian tiger Pokemon. Despite being a predator, Tasma were horrible hunters. They lacked a strong sense of smell, having to rely heavily on their hearing and sight to find food. To make up for this shortcoming, Tasma would frequently supplement their diet by searching out the remains of other creatures and burning their bones down until they found them to be edible. I wanted to make sure that this Pokemon and Beserk were a strong foil to each other. I know one has a significant advantage over the other type-wise, but where a fire-rock type like this could devastate an ice-steel type like Beserk, Beserk is a far more useful typing overall. I really liked the vast difference between the two while still feeling connected in some way. It makes it feel like this region over the centuries has changed drastically, that both of these creatures could have existed in the same place, even if they are from different time periods. Also, if we really needed to, there are many different abilities and hidden abilities that we could give to either of them if we wanted to make them perfectly equal with each other. Magmion, the evolved form of Tasma. Magmion is covered in a hard stone, slowly created over time from the boiling hot, lava-like substance that flows from its back. This gives the Pokemon a much easier job of defending itself, as any fellow predators would be forced to attack Magmion directly or risk injury while attacking it from a blind spot. A Magmion's favorite source of food is the Wombo. They rarely got a chance to feast on this delicacy, however, because they were consistently run off by Womdarug, which were adept at fighting Magmion in one-on-one combat. 2 badges down, and 39 Pokemon in our region's roster. How do you guys think I did? Would any of you be heading off to find the fossils for either of these Pokemon? Or would you hold out to see what the third late-game fossil Pokemon looked like? I like both of them a lot, but I have 6 Pokemon on my team already, so I would have to make some difficult decisions. I have no idea what my next upload's gonna be, honestly. I have a few D&D related ideas, and a few more short comedy animation things that I'd like to try, and as always, more Pokemon are on the way. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. It really helps me out. If you want to take a crack at drawing any of the prompts I've done, or want to send me some artwork to help flesh out some of my worlds, please send them to me over on my Twitter. I love to see what you guys make. But until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.